Welcome to the Big Bad Marketing Podcast. I'm Janae.
And I'm Brooke, and we are two entrepreneurs jumping headfirst into building a business.
We're marketers and we're content creators at heart. And in this podcast, we help small business owners learn how to play big with their marketing efforts, even on a small business budget.
So if you're ready to make big bad moves in your professional life, this podcast is for you. Welcome to episode 25. 9 things you can do to wow your customers and 4 things to absolutely avoid. Before we hop into today's podcast, I just want to acknowledge that this is our 25th episode. Snaps
Woo-hoo!
for us. That's amazing. And we are all about celebrating the small milestones as we go. So thank you to our listeners who have been with us through 25 episodes. Kudos to you, Janae, and me for showing up and recording this consistently. I think a lot of podcasts don't make it this long.
Hmm,
So kudos to us.
go us.
Happy to be here.
And we're going to keep coming at you.
Yeah, we are.
I've listened to some of our earliest episodes and I gotta admit I do cringe a little bit at
Oh,
just the
always.
whole thing. But I acknowledge that all of those were steps to get to this milestone, which is what it feels like. 25 episodes. That's a feat.
Oh, yeah. And definitely at 50 episodes, we'll look back and cringe at these ones. Same thing with 100 and 500 and so on and so forth. It never ends. We're always learning. On that note, please drop a comment. Tell us what you like about this podcast. Tell us what you don't like. Tell us what you'd like to see more of, because we are always looking for ways to make it better.
We will say thank you for your feedback.
And then we will implement it should it be relevant. All right. So today is all about wowing your customers. So you're in business, things are fine-ish, but you are sort of lacking that je ne sais quoi, that thing that sends you above and beyond into excellent territory. You want your customers talking about your business in a really positive way. Like, Janae, what are some of the potential impacts when your customers go from satisfied to having that wow experience?
First of all, you're going to get them to just say, wow, I had an amazing experience, which should provide a high level of fulfillment for you on a personal level. But when we talk
Oh,
in
make you
terms of
feel
like,
good.
yeah, it feels good. Exactly. But in terms of like actual business results and things that are going to happen when people feel the wow energy, you're going to keep your customers around. They're going to be happy, and happy customers are the ones who come back. And they're going to refer others because happy customers are the ones who go out with a megaphone on and tell all of their friends what a great job you did. They become a free promoter for you. They advocate for your brand and you don't even have to ask them to do that. You are asking them by just doing a really good job and making them feel wowed.
Yeah. And
Um,
so people are probably, even if you haven't heard the phrase net promoter score, you're probably familiar with the concept of it because that's what happens anytime a business sends you a survey and asks you, how likely are you to recommend our business to a friend or family member? These are the nines and tens. When you wow someone, they are 9 or 10 on your net promoter score. And those are the folks who are going out into the wild and are acting as those free billboards for your business. So if you send out a survey, we want to over index on those nines and tens. So that is what you're trying to create with your experiences.
oh yeah, give them more than they bargained for in a positive way, and you might not be able to get them to stop talking about it.
Good problems.
Good problems. Okay. Other things that are going to happen are you're going to get positive reviews, which is good for business, right? The more reviews you have in general, especially those 5-star ones, that's going to bump up your ratings. It's going to, I hope, bring you up higher on the algorithm and build more trust in your community and showcase your credibility. And then you'll get testimonials as a result, especially if you're asking for them. So go ahead and ask those happy customers to write up a little blurb about how wow they really feel so you can share it with other customers or prospects so that they'll buy and then they'll love you too. And then you're just like multiplying the goodness. What else happens maybe on a more internal level?
Yeah. So if you have employees, generally, wowed customers are going to increase your employee satisfaction. And that is a really logical conclusion because who would you rather serve? Someone who is deeply unhappy, kind of a pain in the butt customer, or someone who is so enthusiastic to be buying from your business and is generally wowed by the experience. And as an employee, isn't it so much more fun to seize the opportunity to wow people in your day-to-day job? And that's something that we'll talk about in our list of things to do is empowering employees to do that. But generally, it's going to increase your employee satisfaction and then ultimately it's going to result in more sales, more conversions, higher chances of conversion for the people that are coming into your store when you are focused on creating that wow experience.
Oh, and I don't want to undercut or miss the huge impact that happy employees, that whole cycle has on the value of wowing everyone. It's just it business is such a feedback loop, and each choice you make feeds into the next one. And I can speak for myself, although I will relate it over to you, Brooke, in like past life agency land. Unhappy employees don't wow customers, and then unhappy customers don't lead employees to feel like creating happy customers. And it's a really vicious cycle. And there's so much research that shows happy employees help create more revenue for your business and help your business win. So don't underestimate the value of really treating your employees well, treat them with respect, right? This doesn't even have anything to do with what you're selling. This just has to do with like on a human level, like do good by your employees and your business is just going to go up and up and up.
Yeah, I think we could and probably should do an entire episode on just employee satisfaction and how that turns into, to your point, that cycle for your business of happy employees, serve customers in a way that turns them into happy customers who then promote you, who then create happy employees. And it really does go round and round in that way.
Again, in that case, I'm talking about like a big organization with hundreds of people, but I think it's even more true and more poignant for a small business with a really nimble, tiny team, right? You have to rely on each other. There's only a handful of you. So the happier and more fulfilled each of those people are, and the more part of the team they feel, the better the outcomes all around.
Yep, definitely. All right, so let's hop into our list of ways to wow your customers. The first three are sort of table stakes for any business, and they might sound really elementary, but they're worth mentioning because they matter so much to the end user experience. Number one, do what you say you're going to do. Ah, just rest in that for a second. How many people just don't do the basic things they say they're going to do? Like, as an example, if you're on a call with a client or a prospective client and you say, hey, I have a template that I think would really be helpful for that. I'll share it with you after the call. Or, hey, I listened to a podcast that I think would be really great for this situation that you could listen to. I'll send it to you later. And then they never send it. And it's just such a simple thing that sort of always do the things that you say you're going to do because those small gestures add up over time. So clients sort of begin to associate you with something, with someone who is reliable. And then if they look to expand their business with you, they feel confident that things are going to continue in that same way as it goes.
It's really true that these are table stakes. I think that's another way of saying that this is just do the basics. If you're selling a product or service, do the whole thing that is promised as part of that service and show up completely for that. Even if you don't wow the customer, this is your baseline. So if you can't even deliver the thing that you're promising that you're going to deliver, that's a bad move. That's not going to be sustainable for your business.
Yeah. So reliability, step one. What's number two?
Pick up the phone. Okay, so a lot of businesses are, let's say, crunching the numbers and trying to be super efficient. And as a result, it's cutting back on delivering the quality to your customers. And it means skimping and it means not staying on the phone those few extra minutes to make sure their problem is resolved or not making a call to check in on them and showcase just this level of like, hey, I care about you as a customer. So the idea here is to build rapport with your clients, and that's going to pay dividends over time. That's going to be like a big ROI when your customer signs up again with you because they trust you and they know that you're going to go the extra mile. You want to check in on them. You want to make sure they feel good and appreciate what you're offering.
Yeah, and to your point, Janae, it's easy to get so buried in the weeds of like okay, with this particular customer, we support them for 1 hour a week or 5 hours a week or 10 hours a week. And whatever that cap is, that's it. And then the customer calls on a Friday morning and you're like, well, we don't have any more time. We'll get to that next week. But like, could you just pick up the phone and spend those 10 minutes talking to them and really create that wow experience of, hey, I acknowledge that you're going above and beyond. And of course, there's a really fine line here because certain people can push the boundaries. And if they can get a hold of you on Friday morning, they might try for Friday afternoon, and then it's Friday night, and then it's Saturday. And then before you know it, it spirals out of control. So you definitely have to set a boundary with it. But I think it's really easy to do that when you say, hey, customer, it's Friday morning. I know we've already done our support this week, but I saw that you were calling and I wanted to make sure that I addressed your needs. Like, it's just
Yep.
that easy to say, hey, I acknowledge that what we're doing here is going above and beyond for you, but let me help you anyway because you're worth it.
Yes, this is what we've called scope creep, if you're familiar with that term. And it's like where they start asking and you want to do the goodwill thing and show up and go above and beyond. And then the customer gets used to that and they start asking for more and asking for more. But they don't want their invoice to reflect that more that you're giving them. But I love the way that you just put that, Brooke, of like, have your boundaries by clarifying, hey, I saw you called. I've got a few minutes right now. I've got 5 minutes before my next call. Just wanted to make sure you found a resolution. It is that simple. And it still shows them that you value them as a customer and you want them to come back.
Yeah, and I think just be really honest and transparent with those boundaries. And if they ask for something that is clearly out of scope of the project or the engagement that you're working on with them, it's okay to say, you know what? That's a little bit more. Let me get a price for that and I'll get back to you on that next week. And then you've set the expectation that what you've asked for is not something that we're doing in the current context of our agreement, and we'll discuss it separately.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be confrontational at all,
Yeah.
which I think some people are sort of delicate with or try to avoid entirely. And that's why they end up just doing the thing instead of having clear boundaries and being able to stick to them. But that's all what like all of this is about is like practice some phrases like that. Like, well, I'm not sure. Let me get back to you. Perfectly okay to say. Let me check my calendar. Let me go check on the contract and I'll follow up. No
Yeah.
problem to say those things.
Yeah. Love that. And customers appreciate that. Just be
Mm-hmm.
honest.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
All
so what's
right.
next?
Number three, listen to them. This is another table stakes. We've discussed this in prior episodes, like episode 12 on managing your digital reputation, but not every bit of customer feedback is going to be helpful, nor should it be implemented. But listening to your customers and deciding to make those changes that do enhance their experience is never a bad move. So it's sort of like, to me, like when you're dating someone and you're like, ooh, I really don't like the way you said that, or I really don't like the way you treated that server at the restaurant or the thing that you said to them. I felt like that was really kind of abrupt and took me, it didn't click with me. And then if your partner, then the person that you're dating, makes that change, and the next time you go out, they're gracious and lovely to the server, it's like, oh, wow, they heard me. They listened to me, and I feel valued as a result of them making that change. You now create a closer attachment with that person. And I feel like the same thing goes to your business. Like if your customers are constantly complaining about the parking situation outside of your store or how cold it is in your restaurant or like this certain product is always out of stock, like can you address those things so that those customers feel heard and valued? So the next time they come, they're like, oh, wow, that was a way different experience with the parking. Like, oh, wow, they turned up to, 75 degrees in here. This feels great. Like, take these opportunities to listen to them, choose the things to implement that make sense, and then do it. And then tell them that you did it.
Yes, absolutely. Make sure it's clear. In fact, those are great opportunities to send in a newsletter. Hey, we've refreshed our parking. Check out our new parking map. This is designed to help you and make it easy. Like you gave us feedback and we listened. And it makes me think about one-off feedback versus consistent feedback, right? If one person is complaining because they got in a messy car situation in the parking lot and blah blah blah, and they come in and they're in a rage because of it, like, okay, thank you for your feedback. That's fine, but you don't have to do anything about it, right? But if it's ongoing and multiple customers are telling you the same things, right? Like you're listening for the themes and they are there, right? That's a great indication to make a change that could be simple for you to change and have a big impact on a lot of customers.
Yep, definitely. All right, Janae, number 4.
All right, this is an exciting one. It's give your customers something that is unexpected. A freebie is a great example of this. You can give new customers who sign up with you a welcome basket or send them a thank you note or an email. You can be as creative as you want, but the idea is to add a lot of value. And there's tons of options across the spectrum, whether that like an email could cost you relatively little. You write it once and then you're able to send it to all kinds of new customers or a whole basket, right? Like we like t-shirts with your logo on it or like a pen or a tote bag, something with your company name, something that will be useful to them, right? These things are going to drive value and get your customers excited, feel like part of your crew, part of your team. And that is that unexpected, that, like you said, Brooke, the je ne sais quoi, that's really going to drive home the wow factor. Um, an example actually you mentioned to me recently, Brooke, was that when you joined a particular cell phone company's service, they were offering free membership to a movie and TV show streaming service. And so it was like, as an added value, as added benefit for you making this purchase and signing with us, we're going to make it even better for you. And we're going to throw this in as a complimentary thing that you get just because you're working with us. And I bet when you got that, you were like, wow.
Oh, yeah. And I was like, okay, now I don't have to sign up for it on my own. This is great. That's another $10 a month in value that I'm getting from what I'm already paying for my cell phone bill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think there's bonus points can be awarded if your freebie is related to what you're doing. So, right, like we like t-shirts, but t-shirts doesn't necessarily have to do with marketing. Well, I mean, I guess you could, it's a
I
stretch, but you
mean,
could see it like
billboard,
people, yeah,
walking
people walking
billboard.
around with their shirt on, that's fine. But I'm thinking like, okay, you go to the dentist and their value add is here's a free toothbrush and a free toothpaste. Keep taking care of your teeth. Like this is just complimentary from us. We're really glad you're with us. Here you go. And maybe there's even some floss in there, right? Like it's a whole exciting goodie bag when you go home from the dentist. But the point is like that has to do with the thing that you paid them for. So it only is reinforcing the experience that they had and the value that they're getting from it.
Yeah. So, Janae, can you wow someone with a discount?
Ooh. So at Big Bad Marketing in general, our stance tends to be don't discount. Discounts are most often a no-no. Now, that's not to say there is a never a good circumstance for discounts. I think there are very useful times to provide discounts, but they're specific. So when you're wowing someone, devaluing what you're selling by taking the price down is not a wow. It just makes them feel like they got a deal or like they got a steal on something. And then what's even worse is next time they're going to want that deal again. And you're setting the precedence of constantly undercutting yourself and what it is that you're selling. So if you really stand behind the product or service you're offering, I think that's why we're like freebies, freebies, because you're giving more value. Show them your worth by making them feel so fulfilled by the purchase that they made and then more like it's overflowing versus um like what's the word I'm looking for here, devaluing yourself, I guess, by taking off a little bit of the price. Nobody really wins with that.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And to your point, the people that sign up with you for that initial deal are going to always be looking for that deal because in their head, they now have the set point for your services at a certain dollar value. And they're going to have a really hard time, especially if you gave them like a 50% or more discount. It's going to be really hard to get them back up to that price point where you really need your customers to be.
Yeah, because you did all your business math. Shout out to our episode about pricing and making sure all of your margins are correct, right? And if you're constantly undercutting yourself, you're not even going to be able to cover your operational costs or make the revenues and hit your targets that you've set for yourself. So I say discounts in this case are a no-no and they're not going to help wow anyone. They're going to do the opposite of wowing people.
What's the opposite of wowing people, do we think? Ew.
Ugh. Oh,
Ews, not wows.
yeah. All right. What else do we have? What is a wow factor?
Number 5, way to wow your customers, spontaneously share things that are helpful. So this is sort of the business equivalent of that Hey, was just thinking of you when I saw this thing. Text message that you send to a friend, right? Like I just sent one to a girlfriend over the weekend of like, hey, this popped up in my memories and it made me think of you and how are things and we need to get together and the whole nine that we all do. So this is the business equivalent of that. And you might share a podcast, an article, an advertisement that you saw that made you think of their business or might be beneficial for them to see or take action on. And the most important part of spontaneously sharing these helpful things is that we need to share them with no expectation of receiving something in exchange. We are simply creating goodwill. This is an unexpected act of kindness that can have a big impact.
Oh yeah, your example got me thinking about neighborly cups of sugar, right? Where did that practice go? Like, can I borrow a cup of sugar? And you don't do it because you're like, well, you're going to owe me next time I need sugar, right? You just do it because you're like, of course. In fact, it's making me think of a time when, as a kid, we didn't have a bag of sugar. So I sat there tearing apart a bunch of little tiny sugar packets so that I could be like, yes, neighbor, here is your cup of sugar. And you know, that's
That's
neither here
really
nor there. My
sweet.
point is, yeah, it's sweet on multiple levels.
Oh,
But
wah, wah, wah.
my point is that unexpected act of kindness is the goodwill of your business and the face of your business showing up and going above and beyond. And it's not expecting something to get back to grow your business, but that will be the result on the other side. Because now that customer is going to be wowed and they're going to remember and they're going to go on and do all those things we talked about, like buy more and stay with you and tell all their friends about it or give you a testimonial.
Yeah. And it doesn't take a lot of your time or effort or energy to do that. And it can be as quick as an email or a text message, just a, hey, was thinking about you, thought you'd enjoy this. I mean, it could be a
Yes.
local event that you see that you're like, hey, thought this would be a good idea for your business to show up in a booth there. Hey, yada yada. Like the opportunities are endless in terms of the types of things that you can share, but it just takes a little bit of understanding your customer and knowing what might be valuable to them.
Yeah. Okay, it's reminding me of a book that we've been reading, Brooke, that has to do with leads. And our approach, I mean, we do send happy, useful information to our clients, but it's reminding me of giving away a lot of things that are valuable to your clients at the outset so that they believe that you actually do know what you're doing versus like making them wait to sign up. You're like gatekeeping your own value. That's going to be a way harder way to that leads to a way harder method of getting people to sign on with you if you're like, well, if you sign on, you will get all 10 tips, right? The idea here is like, go to our website. Seriously, check it out. Like, there's tons of free content and templates and different um, pieces of information that you can use totally free. You don't even have to give us anything, like no email either. Just like go on and use these things because we know they will help you, they will provide value. And the idea is it's creating that goodwill, that trust with you, and then you are going to buy when it's time.
Yep, absolutely. It's all about adding value for your customers, giving them so much value that when the time comes that you do want to sell something, they would be stupid not to buy it. Like because you've given so much.
Yeah, they know that you know how to and that you can.
Yeah. Yep. All right, what's next?
Empower your employees. Okay, so at Big Bad Marketing, we are all about empowering entrepreneurs, empowered entrepreneurship. That's one of our staples. But in terms of running your business and what this means for you, is give your employees the chance to wow your customers, right? If you're like micromanaging them and you're keeping such harsh count on registers or things like that. Now, I'm not saying don't count the register money, but the idea is like allow your employees and trust them in the moments when they can make a difference for a customer who will become now your billboard and your megaphone and refer you. So let's use like a restaurant example. If your waiter knows that they have up to, $20 worth of food that they can send to a particular table, if they think it's going to take the experience from wherever it's at to wow, right? Let them send a free dessert if it's someone's birthday, or let them offer an appetizer because they know that the customer came in before and loved it, right? The point is giving your employees the chance to shine by making customers more happy and feel more wow energy.
Yeah, absolutely. Love this one. And whether it's a certain price point or a certain time period, say you have a team of people that are on the phones with customers and you say, you know what? If you have a customer that needs additional support, I know you're set up in these 30-minute blocks for calls, but we're going to tell you take another 20 minutes if you need to create a wow experience. Or if somebody walks into the boutique and they're talking about their upcoming wedding, like give them a free bride to be t-shirt that's going to be like their wow experience. Like see if there are things that you can do. Again, that is a small cost to you, but is going to have big perceived value, and then empower your employees to be able to make those decisions on their own without checking in with you. Because that's how you're going to be able to quickly create these experiences when your team feels like they've got the green light to do it.
I love how clear it is that your business is like an organism. It's a whole functioning system. And the more that you build out the systems and empower people and have clarity of how things work, the better it is for everybody. So if you're like really stuck in some of these things, it's a really great opportunity to kind of loosen up and think about the main thing, which is making your customers happy so they'll keep buying so you can stay in business.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that kind of dovetails in with number 7 of personalizing experiences and focusing on the details. So, can you find opportunities to tailor experiences for individual customers? Can you remember the past experiences and preferences, like you mentioned at the restaurant? You know that they loved the appetizer the last time they came in. Can you send one out to their table for free and then acknowledge that? Like, can you deeply understand your customers and then make recommendations for them? If you know someone is in from out of town, can you suggest a show for them to go see? Can you suggest a museum exhibit that they've got to get to? Like, can you, again, make sure that your team is equipped to seek out those opportunities for personalization?
Okay, yes. And we're not expecting you to just memorize everything about each of your customers and everything they bought. But I'm just loving how all of these tie into each other. It's like pick up the phone, call your customer, check in, make sure they're happy, right? And maybe they're like, oh, I'm at my kid's soccer game. I can't talk right now. Like next time that you do talk to them, remember that. Or where I'm going with this is like write it down and then you can be like, oh, this person has a child who plays soccer. Let me ask about that when I'm on the phone with them. And that makes them feel like you take them seriously as a real person, not just as business revenue and making sure that you're going to get your numbers. And people love that. They want to feel like a real person. I'm being reminded of an Office episode where main character Michael Scott, the boss, like he's all over the place most of the time, but he pulls out a Rolodex and has notes on each of his people. And he's like, oh, this one has a kid in this grade, and this one does this on the weekends, and blah, blah, blah. And you're just like, oh, actually, that is a very useful tool when you're in business to make sure that you're on top of it with each of your customers, keep them straight. You can ask them if they liked that thing they bought, what would they do differently, right? Like this is your time to shine and make them feel special.
Yeah, I'm sure people who are well versed in sales that listen to the podcast are going to be like, oh my gosh, this is like sales development 101. Like, know your people, know who they are as a human, ask them personal things. But that is what it's about. It's creating the relationships.
Everything is sales at the end of the day, no?
See?
See,
Yeah. I mean, big time. It's so true, especially for a small business owner, because if you ain't selling, you ain't got a business.
exactly. Keep that in mind all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, what else we got?
All right, number 8, things you can do to wow your customers. Say thank you. Yes, your
Gracias.
customers are paying you for a thing, but you appreciate them because they're paying you for a thing, right? So you can acknowledge that commitment and then deepen it by, giving them a shout out, recognizing a memorable moment. Like you've been our customer for a year. We want to thank you by, we'll get a free t-shirt if you come into our store. You'll get a free workout on us, or, I know the
Hmm.
freebies discounts conversation, but
But
you
this is a
can.
great opportunity to do a discount, I think, as an acknowledgement of their ongoing loyalty. That's a great time to
Mhm.
do it versus like, let me devalue myself so you to make the sale.
And I think loyalty programs are a great example of
Mm,
that. Like the place that I go to get my weekly poke bowl after I coach at the gym. I have my little loyalty card. And once I do 10 and I get my stamps across for 10, then I get a free Poke Bowl. And that's their way of ensuring that I'm going to keep coming back. And it makes me feel valued because I'm like, okay, I've consistently come here for the past 10 weeks and now you're giving me a free one. So
I
loyalty
win.
programs, yeah, exclusive offers, anything like that. Just find ways to say thanks and make people feel appreciated for using your business.
Yeah, I think everyone likes to feel acknowledged. And I'm okay. I watch this one YouTube channel. It's like a yoga channel and it's YouTube, so it's free. But the instructor is always saying, literally like this, they're like, thank you so much to all of those of you who support me on my paid channels. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure which channels those are, but like whether they send it through PayPal or there's other platforms where you can send a donation to this instructor. And just hearing them acknowledge that people are supporting this instructor makes me like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go do it. And then I now also donate to that person because I'm like, thank you for offering this. But more than that, thank you for acknowledging us because we're offering it. And it's just like this beautiful cycle. It makes everyone feel happy and appreciated and acknowledged.
Yes, and thank you to our listeners of this podcast because we know that you
Hey,
have so many opportunities to listen to other things. There are a bajillion and seven podcasts, I think, on last count. So thanks for being here with us.
very accurate count.
Yeah.
All
All
right,
right,
what's
what's
our
our
last
last?
step?
Wrap it up, Janae.
Be clear on what the next step is. So speaking of last steps, you always want to let your customer know what's ahead. So you we talked about this a little bit in our math episode, but you want to expand and extend and capitalize on your customer lifetime value. So you can do that by always telling them about new products that you're offering or what they should do after they've worked with you, even if it's not really working with you anymore, if you're setting the foundation so now they can go work with someone else. But always set yourself up as the expert in the field and give them guidance of what to do now.
Yeah. And always have something when they're ready for more. So thinking about it from a fitness context. So say I've been going to group fitness classes consistently for a year. And okay, is there another level? Could I do add-on personal training once a week? Could I get some personalized programming to work toward my specific goals now that I'm showing up consistently? Like, are there ways that you can send someone into sort of the next tier of products or services that you offer and give them that path, show them the way. Don't make them figure it out for themselves.
Sure. I love this. It's making me think of like priming your people. And something we talk about a lot is like planting the seeds so that once our contract is coming to the end on the last day, we're not like, oh, do you want to renew with us? Like you should still, and it comes off as desperate and not really worthwhile, or like we haven't thought about it. And so the idea is to plant seeds and let them know as you're leading up towards that moment of like, oh, by the way, we offer these other things that would make great add ons for you or would be a great next step once you finish here if you're ready for that. And that lets them know you've been thinking about it and prepares them in advance. So they're primed when it's time to go ahead and make that next purchase.
Yep, definitely. All right, so we're coming down to time. So I think we'll have to do a bonus episode on the four things to avoid as you grow your business that definitely won't wow your customers. So look for that coming up.
Boo. They will boo your customers. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.